Long ago, before the mountains stood and before the oceans dreamed, the story of our planet began in silence. There was no blue, no green, no gentle breeze to stir the leaves, because there were no leaves yet. Just the quiet drift of stardust, floating through the blackness of space like soft ashes from a fire that burned before time could name it. That dust held secrets, pieces of hydrogen from ancient stars, and heavier elements born in cosmic furnaces, scattered across the universe in waves of light and energy. This dust did not know it would one day become home. It didn't know it would become soil under bare feet or rivers reflecting the moon. It simply moved, pulled by gravity's invisible hand, gently gathering, gently clumping. These tiny grains, smaller than tears, began to swirl around a newborn star, our sun glowing warm and young at the center of a growing disk of gas and matter. In this whirling cradle the Earth was born, not all at once but slowly, through collisions and merging, through heat and weight and pressure. Pebbles found pebbles and rocks hugged other rocks. Over millions of years, this dance created a sphere rough and molten, blazing with energy and chaos. It was not yet a world to walk on, but it was a beginning. The surface bubbled like soup on a fire. Volcanoes were the only mouth speaking, and their language was lava. Then came the rain. From vapor and steam the skies opened, pouring water onto rock drop after drop after drop. Imagine it, a world of fire slowly cooled by gentle weeping skis. The water hissed as it met the hot surface, carving valleys, filling basins, forming the first oceans. These oceans were dark and empty but full of promise. With each passing century, Earth began to wear the clothes of a planet, an atmosphere, a crust, a rhythm of day and night. Even in those earliest days, Earth spun with a quiet determination like a lullaby in motion. The moon, born from a great collision, began to orbit, tugging at the tides, pulling the oceans in and out like a breath. Light touched water, minerals dissolved and mingled. The chemistry of life was stirring, though no eye was there to see it, no ears yet to hear the thunder, but the world was preparing for wonder. Beneath the surface, heat rose from the deep, pushing continents that didn't yet have names. The land was restless, drifting, shifting. These were the bones of the earth, moving ever so slowly, building foundations for mountains, rivers, and coastlines to come. The surface of the earth was like a canvas being stretched before the first brushstroke. It waited. The air thickened with carbon and methane. The sky might have been a copper hue or perhaps a soft gray. Lightning cracked across it, wild and electric, stirring molecules into motion. And deep within the oceans, the first whispers of life may have begun, not with a shout but with a ripple. Molecules dancing, joining, dividing. Little sparks of organization from the soup of randomness. Some call these first stirrings of life the great mystery. Others see it as chemistry's natural song. Either way, it began in the dark, far below the surface, in warm vents where heat met water and minerals met chance. These vents were cradles, rocking tiny beginnings that would, one day, evolve into the coral reef and the forest, the feather and the skin, the song and the story. Above them the planet continued its long exhale. The crust cooled and hardened, becoming the floor of continents. Clouds thickened and broke into wind. The earth was no longer just a ball of fire and dust, it was becoming a place, a location with a direction, a rhythm. The sun rose and the sun set, and something like time began to be felt. Still, the earth was lonely. No eyes had yet opened to watch the dawn. No wings had yet beaten the air. But the ingredients were there, hidden in the rock, tucked in the tide. And the stars still shone above, as if waiting for a witness. The same stars that once gave their bodies to form the earth now looked on in quiet patience. It is strange to think that everything we are, our thoughts, our breath, our bones, began in that dust. That the atoms in your hand were once part of an ancient star. That your heartbeat echoes a rhythm written before the moon was born. We are, all of us, stardust with memory. The earth is our cradle, but the stars are our ancestors. And so the story of Earth's beginning is not only one of collisions and heat, but one of softness, of time moving gently, of water folding over rock, of gravity's slow embrace. Earth did not rush to become beautiful. It waited. It endured. It listened to the silence of space and let it shape its body. Now when you hold a stone in your hand, remember that you are holding history older than words. When you stand at the edge of the sea, remember that these waves began in a world that knew only fire. The earth is ancient, and we are part of its slow blooming. So let us close our eyes and return just for a moment to that quiet swirl of stardust, where all things began, not with noise but with a hush. Now drift deeper into the ancient hush that followed Earth's fiery youth. The planet was no longer a churning sphere of molten chaos, but it had not yet become soft with life. It was a quiet in-between, a waiting place, holding its breath beneath clouded skies. The rain had fallen for ages, carving valleys, pooling in basins, and shaping the first oceans. These waters were salty with minerals, thick with potential. Within them, something began to stir, a silent experiment conducted by time and chemistry. In the deepest parts of these oceans, far from the sun's touch, heat rose from the planet's core. Vents in the sea floor, like underwater chimneys, poured out warmth and minerals into the cold darkness. Here, the warmth was gentle, not scorching. It cradled the elements carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen as they danced together in invisible currents. These were not yet cells, not yet alive, but they were close. Molecules bumped and bonded, twisted and reformed, as if trying to remember a pattern written in the stars. Somewhere along this quiet dance, the first living thing emerged, small, simple, and alone. Perhaps it floated gently, held by the currents, unaware of the miracle it carried. It was not like anything we know. It had no eyes, no mouth, no voice, just a thin boundary of membrane, a soft whisper of instructions folded within. But it could grow. It could make copies of itself. And in doing so, it opened a new chapter for the Earth. These first cells were not in a hurry. They multiplied slowly, filling the oceans one drop at a time. Each one carried a memory of the first, a chain of life that stretched backward through time. And as they spread, they began to change the world. Some of them learned to use sunlight. They captured its warmth and turned it into energy, releasing oxygen as a gift they didn't know they were giving. The skies, once choked with gases unfriendly to breath, began to shift. The air grew sweeter, cleaner. Blue crept into the sky, a color born from the work of unseen lives. And beneath that sky, the ocean grew busy. Life branched outward. Cells joined together, forming little colonies. Some grew tails for swimming, others shells for protection. It was a slow unfolding, a soft evolution, guided not by design but by chance and time. Coral forests formed in the sea. Jelly-like creatures pulsed gently in the current. And still the earth turned, one slow spin after another, as if humming a lullaby only the stars could hear. On land, the changes were just beginning. The continents shifted, giant plates of stone drifting across the surface like silent rafts. They crashed and folded, giving rise to mountains. They parted and welcomed oceans into their hearts. The land, once bare and battered by storms, began to crack and crumble into soil. And into that soil, the seeds of life would one day fall. But not yet. For millions of years, the story stayed beneath the waves. Fins and flippers danced through reefs, and strange creatures with many eyes wandered the sea floor. Some glowed. Some swam with graceful silence. Others crawled with patient curiosity. Life was writing its first poetry in the language of movement and form. And then, one day, some of these water-bound beings found themselves drawn to the edge, the place where sea meets sky. Some lingered in the shallows where the light was warm and the waves were gentle. Over time, a few grew stronger limbs, tougher skins. They learned to breathe a little air, to rest upon the sand, to push themselves forward across the shore. These were not yet animals as we know them, but they were learning. They were dreaming of land. The first forests did not come from trees. They came from low mats of moss and lichen, soft blankets on the stone. Over time, taller forms rose, ferns with curling fronds, trees with bark and branch. Roots reached into the soil, anchoring life to the earth in a new way. Leaves unfurled to the sky, drinking light and exhaling oxygen. And all the while, deep in their green hearts, these plants listened to the turning of the planet, the rhythm of day and night, the pull of seasons, the whisper of wind. Life was no longer a whisper. It had become a chorus. Insects buzzed between flowers. Amphibians sang from the edge of ponds. Fish leapt from rivers under the gaze of ancient skis. Every living thing, large and small, played a part in a growing symphony. And above it all, clouds drifted slowly, weaving rain and sunlight into the fabric of the earth. The planet was alive not just in biology but in feeling. It held the heat of sunlight, the coolness of shadow, the weight of water, the lift of air. Everything was connected. The trees gave breath to the animals. The soil held the memory of leaves. The rivers carved paths through stone to nourish roots. This was no longer just a world of elements. It was a world of relationships, delicate, evolving, poetic. From stardust and stone had come rhythm and breath. The earth had become a body with lungs of forest, veins of river, a heart of molten fire. And from this body, life flowed like a song without end. Now close your eyes and picture the sky as it was then, wider, bluer, full of soft clouds drifting like thoughts. Imagine the hush of an ancient forest, the rustle of unseen creatures, the trickle of a stream that remembers every stone it passes. These are not just scenes from the past, they are the roots of everything. Every breath you take is an inheritance. Every heartbeat is a note in Earth's oldest melody. And so, from molecules to forests, from ocean whispers to mountaintop winds, the story of our home continued, slow, steady, and filled with wonder. Let us drift now into the softest part of Earth's beginning, the moment when life, already abundant and blooming, began to look up. For ages, creatures had lived in the water, clinging to coral, hiding in the reeds, swimming through the deep. But now something stirred on the land that invited new possibilities. Wings opened where once there were fins. Legs unfolded from what had once been soft-bellied swimmers. Life stood on the shores and blinked into the sunlight. These were strange creatures, part water, part land, caught in between. But they learned. They crawled, then walked, then ran. They found insects among the ferns, cool streams between rocks. They followed the warmth of the sun and the quiet of caves. Over time, some grew feathers. Others grew fur. Their eyes widened to take in more of the world, more light, more color, more motion. Their ears began to catch the whisper of the wind in the trees, the far-off call of others like them. Forests deepened. The earth grew green and golden and brown, textured with bark and petals, shaded with moss and shadow. Animals crept and soared and sang. Some hunted, some grazed, some tunneled into the dirt. And each generation carried memories in its body, adaptations, instincts, ways of moving and surviving and sensing. These silent lessons were passed down, not in books, but in blood, in bone, in breath. And then on one quiet morning, though no one could say which, a creature opened its eyes and noticed the stars. Perhaps it stood on two legs, feeling the dirt beneath and the air above. It might have seen fire flash in the sky during a storm and wondered. It might have held a stone in its hand and felt the weight of possibility. This creature was not just surviving. It was imagining. It was becoming human. The first humans were soft-footed and wide-eyed, walking through forests and grasslands with wonder and hunger. They watched the rivers. They listened to the animals. They felt the seasons change and followed the rhythms of light and dark. Their tools were simple stones, sticks, bones, but their minds were beginning to shape meaning. They left handprints on cave walls. They carved animals into rock. They sang to the stars. Civilization, as we know it, did not arrive in a rush. It unfolded slowly, like a flower opening in the morning sun. People gathered near rivers, planted seeds, built shelters from branches and clay. They lit fires not just for warmth, but for gathering. Around those fires, stories bloomed. Knowledge passed from one voice to another, across generations, across time. The earth listened. It felt the feet of hunters, the laughter of children, the footsteps of migrations that stretched across continents. People built homes and temples, roads and gardens. They looked at the sky and traced the movement of stars, marking time with shadows and seasons. They watched the moon grow and shrink and return again, and began to wonder about its pull on the tides and on their hearts. We built cities. We shaped metals. We grew food and families and languages. But even in our tallest buildings, our deepest minds, and our fastest machines, the memory of Stardust still lingered. It lived in our cells, in the iron of our blood, in the calcium of our bones. The same elements that once floated quietly in space now walked and dreamed and danced. The earth, patient and kind, bore our weight. It held our footsteps and our stories. It offered rain to our crops, wind to our sails, and stone for our walls. And yet, we sometimes forgot how it all began. We forgot that this place, this planet, was born from fire and water and time. We forgot that we are not apart from the earth but of it. But if you listen closely, you can still hear it, in the hush of a forest, in the stillness before dawn, in the lap of waves against an empty shore. The earth speaks in silence, reminding us of its long memory of the stardust, the oceans, the forests, the whispers of early life. It reminds us that we belong here, not as rulers, but as children of soil and sky. Now imagine standing barefoot on the ground. Feel the pull of gravity, that invisible hug that holds you to the planet. Look up at the stars, the same stars that once crumbled and scattered to form the earth. Breathe in and know that the air you inhale has circled through trees and lungs for millions of years. The breath you take is not just yours. It is part of something shared, something ancient. Our story is the Earth's story. Our heartbeat follows the rhythm of its turning. Our dreams echo its landscapes. And even as we build new things and chase new knowledge, we carry the oldest truth of all, that we were made from dust, warmed by sunlight, shaped by water, and softened by time. So let this story rest gently in your thoughts. Let it hold you like the gravity that holds the sea to the shore. And as you sleep, know that you are wrapped in the same mystery that formed the mountains and the sky. The earth does not forget its beginnings, and neither do you, not deep down. You are stardust that learned to love. Before there were cities, before there were names, the oceans whispered first. They were the earth's great memory, holding the echoes of storms, the breath of stars, the coolness of moonlight. Long before creatures learned to walk or wings stirred the air, the oceans had already seen everything. Their waves, even in the beginning, carried the rhythms of time, slow, endless, and soft. They were not only water, they were history in motion. The oceans began as steam clouds weeping over a burning world. Rain fell for millions of years, drop by drop, onto hot volcanic rock. It hissed, it boiled, it pooled. And slowly the earth cooled and the water gathered. Lakes became seas. Seas became oceans. They stretched wide across the planet, shimmering under skies that had only just begun to clear. In those deep waters, sunlight touched the surface and disappeared into darkness. No eyes watched it. No hands stirred it. But the ocean felt it all, the light, the heat, the quiet pull of the moon. The moon, born of the earth's own body, circled high above, tugging at the tides with invisible fingers. Even then, in that early silence, the oceans rose and fell in time with the moon's passing. It was a lullaby of gravity, a slow breath across the face of the planet. Water flowed not just in place, but in feeling, drawn, pushed, cradled. The earth and its moon were already dancing, and the oceans were the stage. And inside those ancient depths, life began to dream. Tiny molecules, stirred by sunlight and warmed by vents in the sea floor, began to change. They linked together, broke apart, linked again. Time passed and still they danced until one day one of them grew a skin. It folded in on itself. It became a cell, alive, quiet, unknowing. The first of its kind, but not the last. These early lives did not move fast. They drifted. They multiplied. They floated with the currents. They bathed in minerals and light, and some learned to turn that light into energy. They exhaled oxygen, not knowing it would change the sky, not knowing it would become the breath of trees and lungs and flight. But the oceans remembered. Every wave, every ripple carried that secret forward. The color of the sky began to shift. It had once been hazy and heavy, full of gases that burned the lungs of dreams. But now, because of those tiny ocean lives, the sky became blue. Not suddenly, but gently, the way morning replaces night. The light scattered in the atmosphere, and the world looked upward and saw something new: brightness, clarity, a ceiling of sky above a floor of water. The ocean, deep and wide, began to reflect that sky. It mirrored the clouds, the sun, the stars. It learned to hold what it saw, and still it held the memory of darkness, of warmth from below. There were layers, warm near the surface, cold and ancient beneath. Some parts of the ocean had not seen sunlight for 1 billion years, and yet they moved, slow and steady, pulled by currents shaped by wind and spin and salt. Creatures came. First, soft-bodied things with no bones, no eyes. Then others tougher, stranger, glowing in the deep. Some built reefs from their bodies. Some hunted in silence. Some fed on sunlight and drifted like petals. The ocean was never still. It shimmered with life, and every creature that came after owed something to the sea. The ocean gave the first breath. Not the breath of lungs, but the breath of chemistry, of reactions that made energy, that turned sunlight into sugar, that turned sugar into motion. Every heartbeat began with the ocean's whisper. Every blink, every twitch, every thought can trace its ancestry to those soft currents and ancient tides. Even as life began to explore the land, the oceans remained the source. Amphibians came first, crawling from the shore to the soil, but they never forgot the water. Their skin still needed it. Their eggs still floated in it. Their songs still echoed across it. Birds, mammals, even humans, all of them carried the sea within. The salt in our blood, the rhythm of our breath, the water in our eyes, it all belongs to the ocean. The clouds above, too, are born of the sea. Heat from the sun pulls water into the sky where it cools and gathers. It forms clouds, soft, white, drifting memories, and returns to the earth as rain. That rain fills rivers. Those rivers flow back to the sea. It is a cycle without end, a memory that never forgets. The ocean is always giving, always receiving, always remembering. Even now, when we walk beside it, we feel something deeper than wind. The sound of waves is not just noise. It is an echo of time itself. A reminder that long before we arrived, the earth was already listening, already feeling. The ocean has carried continents. It has swallowed mountains. It has rocked ships and dreams alike. And through it all, it has remained faithful to its rhythm, rising, falling, shining, hiding. Some say the ocean holds the secrets of the stars, that within its vastness are the clues to life on other planets, the answers to questions we haven't learned to ask. Others say the ocean is a mirror, reflecting not just the sky but ourselves. We stare into it and see something old, something vast, something that feels like home. So when you find yourself near the sea, pause, let your breath match its rhythm. Let your heart remember where it began. And know this, the oceans are not just water, they are time, they are memory, they are the breath between the stars and the soil, they are the earth dreaming. Now let us sink a little deeper, not into the sea itself, but into what it holds beneath its rolling skin, a network of motion, memory, and life that stretches farther than any map can show. The surface of the ocean is just the beginning. Beneath it lies a world of slow rivers, ancient shadows, and living light. A place where time moves like a tide, carrying stories too old for words. The ocean is not still. It flows, swirls, climbs, and descends, all in invisible paths called currents. These underwater rivers travel the globe, guided by the wind above, the spin of the earth, the heat of the sun, and the salt dissolved in the water. Some currents race along the surface, warming coastlines and guiding storms. Others dive deep, sliding along the sea floor like whispers in the dark. Together, they form a hidden conveyor belt, pulling warm water from the equator to the poles and returning the cold again. This movement is not random, it is rhythm. It is the ocean breathing in long, patient sighs. Without these currents, the world would be still and harsh, but with them warmth spreads, rain falls, forests grow, life thrives. Every tree on land, every field of grass, every snowflake that drifts from the sky, all of them owe something to the quiet pulse of the sea. And still, beneath that moving water, life continues to glow. Deep-sea creatures shaped by pressure and darkness carry their own lanterns. Some flicker like stars, some pulse like heartbeats. In a world where the sun never reaches, light becomes a secret language, a flash to attract a mate, a glow to lure prey, a spark to say, "I am here." The creatures of the deep have learned to write poetry in brightness. They float like dreams with bodies soft and slow, trailing lights in swirls. They live near vents, where heat from the Earth's belly seeps through cracks in the crust. These hydrothermal vents are like underwater bonfires wrapped in smoke and shadow. Yet around them life blooms thick, strange, fearless. Worms as long as arms, crabs white as bone, microbes that eat chemicals instead of sunlight. Here in the darkest corners of the Earth, the ocean still whispers the same truth. Where there is energy, life can find a way. And the ocean remembers every change. When ice melts, when volcanoes awaken, when winds shift, the ocean feels it first. It absorbs heat. It carries carbon. It watches the skies and reflects what it sees. During times of great warmth or deep freeze, the ocean adjusts its rhythm. It pulls storms across the globe or calms them with a breath. It is not just a body of water. It is the Earth's mind holding, responding, shaping. Long ago, the ocean helped carve the land. Waves struck cliffs and wore them down. Tides filled valleys and created estuaries. Rivers fed the sea, and in return the sea reached into the land. Where salt and fresh water met, life exploded in abundance. These in-between places, where ocean kisses river, where wave meets root, are some of the most alive places on Earth. Marshes, mangroves, tide pools, small worlds of color and motion, home to creatures born from both sky and sea. And as life grew more complex, it began to listen more closely to the ocean's signals. Fish learned to follow currents. Whales traveled thousands of miles guided by the tilt of the earth and the pull of the deep. Coral reefs bloomed in warm, shallow waters, forming cities of stone and color. These coral reefs are more than beauty, they are memory. Built layer by layer, they record the ocean's temperature, its chemistry, its storms. To read a coral is to read a diary of the sea. Even humans, as they grew and spread, never truly left the ocean behind. We returned to it for food, for travel, for healing. We listened to its sounds, mimicking its waves in song and rhythm. We built boats to ride its back. We cast nets into its heart. And still, we dreamed of it. Every lullaby, every myth, every poem that speaks of the sea speaks also of longing, a deep remembering that we came from there and still belong. The ocean's tides shape the days. High tide, low tide, a cycle pulled by the moon and watched by every creature along the shore. Crabs time their hatching to the moonlight. Fish ride the rising tides into estuaries to spawn. Even the smallest grains of sand are shaped by the rhythm of waves. And humans, too, have felt this pull, planting by moon cycles, telling time by tides, praying to the sea for safe journeys. And so the ocean is not separate from the sky. It is its mirror, its partner, its memory. The sky sends rain and the sea returns it. The sun warms the surface and the sea sends back clouds. Lightning flashes over waves and the ocean answers with thunder. Every storm, every calm, every shimmer of dawn over the water, it is all a conversation, a story told in reflection and rhythm. Now imagine standing on a cliff above the sea. The air smells of salt and sky. Below you, the waves curl and sigh, touching the land with fingers made of wind and water. Far beyond the horizon, invisible currents move with the weight of continents. Beneath those, creatures glow and drift in silence. And beneath even them, the earth's fire warms the bottom of the sea. All of it connected, all of it remembering. You are not a visitor here, you are made of water. You are shaped by tides. The ocean flows through your blood, whispers in your ears, rocks you to sleep with its endless voice. You are the sky and the sea, the storm and the calm. You are the memory the ocean carries. As the ocean story unfolds, it brings us closer to the quiet truths it holds beneath its surface, truths about time, transformation, and connection. The ocean, with its endless waves and hidden depths, is more than a place. It is a keeper of memories, a witness to Earth's slow unfolding, and a gentle teacher of life's fragile balance. It reminds us that every drop belongs to a cycle, every creature to a story, every wave to a rhythm older than ourselves. The ocean has seen great changes. Ice ages where glaciers pushed into the sea, carving coastlines and shifting currents. Times when the ocean swallowed entire lands and others when it retreated, revealing vast plains for life to explore. It has carried seeds and creatures across continents, ferrying life between islands and shores. And through it all, it has held its memory like a soft, unbroken thread. In the quiet places of the sea, corals build their cities, layer by layer, year by year. These reefs are alive, breathing with the pulse of the ocean. They shelter fish that flash like jewels, crustaceans that crawl with purpose, and plants that wave like dancers. But coral reefs are delicate. They listen to changes in temperature and chemistry. When the ocean warms too much, or when pollution clouds the water, they bleach and fade, losing their color and their life. It is a reminder that the ocean's memory is precious, but also vulnerable. The ocean also teaches us about cycles, not just of water but of life and death, of growth and decay. Phytoplankton, tiny plants drifting near the surface, feed not only the sea but the whole earth. They absorb carbon dioxide, releasing oxygen that we breathe. When they die, they sink slowly to the deep, carrying carbon with them, helping to cool the planet. This dance of plankton and carbon is a quiet act of care between sea and sky, a balance that has lasted for millions of years. Animals of the sea carry stories too. Whales sing songs that travel thousands of miles, melodies that echo through the depths and across generations. These songs are ancient, filled with memory and longing, a language of connection and community. Sea turtles follow the magnetic fields of the earth to return to the beaches where they were born. Salmon swim upstream against the current, guided by smell and memory. The ocean is alive with these journeys, stories written in fins and flippers, in wings and waves. Humans, too, are part of this story, though we sometimes forget. Our ancestors first came from the sea, stepping onto land with wet skin and hearts full of wonder. We built boats and nets and villages along the shore. We learned the language of the tides and the winds. We celebrated the ocean in stories and songs, in rituals and prayers. But as we grew, we also changed the ocean, warming its waters, filling it with noise and waste, threatening the delicate balance it holds. Yet hope flows with the tides. People around the world are listening again. They protect coral reefs, plant mangroves, clean beaches. Scientists dive deep to understand the ocean's secrets. Artists paint its beauty. Poets write its songs. Communities remember that the ocean is not just a resource but a living world, a memory that carries us all. The ocean's story is one of resilience and fragility, of power and gentleness. It is a story we share. When you stand at the water's edge, let your thoughts drift with the waves. Feel the salt on your skin, the wind in your hair, the rhythm of the tides in your chest. Know that you are connected to something vast and ancient, the great blue heart of the earth. And as the sun sets over the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of orange and pink, listen closely. The ocean speaks in whispers, in lullabies of water and wind, telling stories older than time. Stories of beginnings and endings, of life and memory. It invites you to rest, to remember, to dream. Let the ocean's breath become your own. Let its quiet song soothe you into peace. And know deep inside that you are part of this endless dance, the water and the sky, the earth and the stars, forever intertwined. Long before humans climbed their peaks or whispered their names, mountains were born from the restless heart of the earth. These giants began as molten rivers flowing deep beneath the surface, fierce and fiery, shaping the world with slow, unstoppable force. Imagine a time when the ground beneath your feet was not steady, but alive, trembling, folding, bursting with energy unseen. The Earth's crust is like a great puzzle made of pieces called tectonic plates. These plates drift, sometimes colliding, sometimes sliding past one another, moved by heat and pressure far below. When two plates press together, the rock folds and buckles, pushing upward. Over millions of years, this slow dance builds mountains, towering high like the spines of the planet. Beneath these mountains, the Earth's mantle flows like thick syrup, heated by the core's blazing fire. Magma rises through cracks and fractures, spilling out in volcanic eruptions that sculpt the land. Lava cools into rock, layer by layer, building the bones of mountains. Each eruption is a story, a moment when the Earth breathes fire and reshapes itself. These mountains are not silent. They hum with the memory of creation, rumbling earthquakes, whispering winds, the slow grind of stone against stone. Rivers carve valleys through their faces, glaciers scrape their shoulders, and life finds a way to cling to their rugged slopes. Moss grows on rocks warmed by the sun. Eagles circle above, and wildflowers bloom in hidden crevices. Mountains hold stories of time in their rings and layers. Each rock is a page, each fossil a word in Earth's ancient book. Some mountains are old and worn, their peaks rounded by the patience of wind and rain. Others are young and jagged, sharp with the energy of recent birth. Together, they tell a tale of endless change. Above all, mountains reach toward the sky, touching clouds and stars. They catch sunlight and shadow, shaping weather and life below. They hold snow that melts to feed rivers, giving water to forests and fields. They stand as guardians of the land, silent and strong, reminding us of the power beneath our feet. Close your eyes and imagine standing on a mountain's peak. Feel the crisp air, the vastness stretching out in every direction. The sky feels closer here, wider, deeper. You can see the curve of the earth, the patchwork of forests, rivers, and plains below. The mountain holds you, steady and quiet, a link between the fiery heart and the living surface. These mountains, born of fire and stone, are part of our story, ancient sculptures shaped by time and force. They remind us that the earth is alive, always moving, always becoming, and that beneath the calm of our days, there is a slow, powerful heartbeat shaping the world we call home. Let us drift deeper into the realm of mountains, where stone and time weave a tapestry older than memory. Beneath their peaks lies a world alive with quiet motion, a slow dance of erosion and renewal, shaping landscapes that hold secrets beneath layers of rock and soil. These giants are more than silent sentinels. They are storytellers, etched with the language of wind and rain, fire and ice. The process that forms mountains begins deep within the Earth's mantle, where heat melts rock into molten magma. This magma slowly rises, pushing against the crust, sometimes breaking through in volcanic eruptions that flood the land with lava. These fiery events build new rock, layer upon layer, creating towering formations that reach toward the sky. But mountains are also sculpted by forces that pull them apart, cracks that grow into valleys, glaciers that carve smooth faces, rivers that cut deep canyons. The earth beneath these mountains is restless. Tectonic plates, vast and slow, push and pull with a force that reshapes continents. Where plates collide, mountains rise. Where they separate, oceans form. This constant movement is a heartbeat of the planet, slow but steady, a rhythm that has persisted for millions of years. Mountains carry the weight of this movement, bearing scars of ancient earthquakes and folds of rock pressed tight by pressure. Life clings to these stones, adapting to harsh winds and thin air. Alpine flowers bloom in crevices where soil is scarce, their colors bright against gray rock. Moss and lichen creep over surfaces, slow artists painting the mountain's face with green and gold. Animals find homes in cliffs and forests, goats balancing on ledges, eagles soaring on thermals, bears wandering beneath the trees. Each life is a thread woven into the mountain's fabric. Mountains influence the climate too. They catch clouds, forcing moisture to fall as rain or snow, feeding rivers that flow into valleys and plains. These waters nourish forests and fields, shaping ecosystems far beyond the peaks. The snowpack on mountains acts like a reservoir, slowly releasing water during warmer months, sustaining life in places that might otherwise dry out. In this way, mountains connect the sky and the earth, the frozen and the living. The story of mountains is also a story of time, of glaciers that once covered great stretches of the land, carving out U-shaped valleys and leaving behind lakes and moraines. These ice giants moved slowly, grinding stone beneath them and shaping the earth with patient force. When the glaciers melted, they left behind landscapes transformed, new homes for plants and animals, new shapes for rivers and roads. Ancient people looked to mountains with awe and reverence. They saw them as sacred places, homes of gods or spirits, gateways between earth and sky. Mountains have inspired countless stories, poems, and songs, symbols of strength, challenge, and mystery. Their jagged peaks remind us of the power beneath our feet and the resilience of life that flourishes even in the harshest places. As you imagine standing among these towering giants, feel the cool air, the rough texture of stone under your fingertips. Hear the whisper of the wind weaving through trees, the distant call of birds riding the currents. Notice how the light changes with the hours, casting shadows that dance across the slopes. The mountain holds all this, patient and eternal, a monument to the earth's fiery heart and gentle breath. Mountains are places of beginnings and endings. They cradle the source of rivers that carry life to distant lands. They hold the first snowdrops of spring and the last leaves of autumn. They remind us that the earth is alive with stories, told slowly, in stone and water and sky. And in their silence, they invite us to listen to the deep, slow pulse of the planet, to the fire woven into the bones of the world. Now let us come to the soft closing of the mountain's tale, where fire and stone meet quiet understanding. The mountains, once born from violent heat and pressure, become places of rest and reflection. They age like all things, their sharp edges softened by wind and rain, their heights worn down by time. Yet in this gentle change they gain a new kind of beauty, one that speaks of endurance, patience, and the slow passing of days. As snow melts into rivers, the mountains share their life-giving water with the world below. Streams rush through valleys, feeding forests and fields, joining with other rivers to become mighty currents that carry the mountain's story to the seas. This water remembers its journey from frozen peaks to flowing paths, carrying minerals and memories alike. It nourishes the soil, supports the roots of trees, and offers a home to creatures great and small. In the quiet forests that cloak their lower slopes, trees grow tall and strong, their roots gripping deep into the earth. Moss and ferns carpet the forest floor, softening the hard stones beneath. Birds build nests in branches swaying with the mountain breeze, and animals find shelter in caves and thickets. Life thrives in this sheltered world, a contrast to the mountain's fierce birth. Mountains also hold human stories. For thousands of years, people have lived in their shadows, drawing water from their streams and shelter from their forests. They have climbed their peaks in search of meaning, challenge, and beauty. Mountains have been places of pilgrimage, mystery, and inspiration. They remind us of our smallness and our connection to something greater. The minerals hidden in mountain rocks have shaped civilizations. Copper, gold, and silver mined from these heights have built tools, art, and wealth. The stones themselves have been carved into temples, homes, and monuments. Mountains, in their stillness, hold the pulse of human history, the dreams and labors of countless generations. Even as the world changes, mountains stand as witnesses. They watch the seasons turn, the glaciers retreat, the forests grow and fade. They feel the tremors of earthquakes and the roar of avalanches, yet they endure. Their presence is a quiet reminder of the earth's resilience and the delicate balance between power and peace. Now imagine standing once more on a mountain peak at dawn. The sky is painted with soft colors, pinks and golds stretching into blue. The air is crisp and clean. You breathe deeply and feel the weight of the world below and the vastness above. The mountain holds you gently, a bridge between fire and sky, earth and air. In this moment you can sense the mountain's story, not just of rock and heat, but of life and time. It is a story of beginnings and endings, of chaos and calm, of destruction and creation. It is a story that continues to unfold with each passing moment. And as you stand there, wrapped in the mountain's quiet strength, remember that you carry its story within you. The fire that built the peaks is the same fire that burns in your heart. The slow, steady shaping of stone is the same patience that shapes your life. The mountain's breath is your own. So let the mountain story settle softly in your thoughts. Let it remind you that even the greatest forces move with gentle grace, that strength is found in stillness, and that every beginning holds the promise of peace. The mountains woven from fire teach us to endure, to grow, and to listen to the slow, beautiful rhythms of the earth. Imagine a world where the air itself seems alive. filled with whispers and sighs carried on the wind. This is the world of forests, vast, green lungs breathing slowly over the earth's surface. Before there were cities or roads, before even animals roamed widely, forests covered the land in waves of green, stretching across hills and valleys like an endless sea of leaves. They are not just trees standing still. They are living, breathing communities, ancient and alive, connected by roots, light, and air. Forests begin with a seed, small and unassuming, carrying within it the promise of life. When the seed falls to the earth, it lies quiet, waiting for the right moment, a touch of rain, a soft sunbeam, the embrace of soil. Then it wakes, stretching roots downward and shoots upward, reaching for the sky. Slowly, patiently, it grows. Over years and decades, what was once a seed becomes a sapling, then a tree, towering and strong. But a forest is more than a collection of trees. It is a web of life woven through every branch and leaf, every root and stone. Trees talk to each other in a language of roots and fungi, sharing water and nutrients through underground networks. These connections allow them to warn each other of danger, support seedlings, and balance their growth. In this hidden world, trees are neighbors and kin, communicating in silence. Above ground, the forest is alive with sound and motion. Birds flit from branch to branch, their songs weaving through the canopy like threads of melody. Insects buzz and crawl, pollinating flowers and breaking down fallen leaves. Mammals tread softly on the forest floor, foraging and hunting, playing and resting. Each creature, large or small, plays a part in the forest's breathing rhythm. The air in a forest feels different. It is cooler, softer, full of the scent of earth and green leaves. Trees pull carbon dioxide from the air, turning it into oxygen through a magic called photosynthesis. This process not only feeds the trees but gives life to the world. Every breath we take owes a debt to forests. They are the lungs of the earth, filtering the air, holding the climate steady, and sheltering countless species. Forest floors are rich with decay and renewal. Fallen leaves become soil, nourishing new growth. Moss blankets rocks and logs, softening the forest's footsteps. Fungi form networks that connect roots, creating a vast underground web sometimes called the Wood Wide Web. This hidden world is vital for the health of the forest, recycling nutrients and supporting life in ways we are only beginning to understand. Seasons paint forests in changing colors. Spring brings bursts of new leaves and blossoms. Summer hums with growth and song. Autumn drapes the woods in fiery reds and golds, and winter lays a quiet hush over the trees. Each season is a breath, a pulse in the forest's life cycle. Even when trees lose their leaves, their roots hold steady underground, resting and preparing for the next awakening. Ancient forests carry stories older than humans. Giant trees stand like living monuments, their rings recording centuries of rain, drought, and wind. These forests have survived ice ages, fires, storms, and human footsteps. They remind us of endurance and change, of the deep rhythms that shape life on Earth. Imagine standing beneath a canopy of leaves, light filtering through in soft patterns. The air is cool and fragrant. You hear the rustle of branches, the distant call of a bird, the whisper of wind through needles or broad leaves. The forest breathes around you, a slow, steady rhythm that fills the world with life and calm. Forests are not just places to walk through. They are the earth's breath, the green heart beating in time with the sun and rain. They hold the past in their roots and the future in their seeds. And in their quiet, living presence, they invite us to listen to the soft song of life growing and renewing, again and again. Let your thoughts drift into this green world, soft and deep. Feel the connection between leaf and root, bird and breeze, earth and sky. In the breath of forests, we find the story of life itself, a story of connection, patience, and endless wonder. Let us wander deeper into the heart of the forest, beneath the waving branches and shimmering leaves, into a world woven together by threads too small for eyes to see. Here, roots stretch and curl beneath the soil, meeting in silent conversation with fungi that lace the earth like a hidden web. This underground network connects trees and plants, allowing them to share nutrients, water, and even messages of warning and care. It is a world of quiet cooperation, where life supports life in an ancient, unspoken language. The fungi, often unseen, play a vital role. They reach into the smallest cracks of roots, drawing nourishment from the soil and passing it to their tree partners. In return, the trees share sugars made from sunlight, feeding the fungi's growth. This partnership, called mycorrhiza, is one of nature's oldest friendships, a dance of give and take that sustains the forest. It shows us that survival is not just about competition, but about connection and community. Above ground, life pulses with energy. Insects like bees and butterflies flit among flowers, pollinating and spreading life. Birds nest and sing, their melodies echoing through the canopy like a gentle symphony. Small mammals scurry through the underbrush, and larger animals tread softly, each playing a role in the forest's intricate web. The forest is alive with movement, sound, and color, a living mosaic of interdependence. Trees themselves are remarkable storytellers. Their rings, visible when a tree is cut or falls, hold secrets of past seasons, years of drought, storms, and sun. Scientists read these rings to learn about climate long ago, the history of the earth written in circles of growth. Some trees, like the ancient bristlecone pines, have lived for thousands of years, standing as silent witnesses to the slow passage of time. Forests also shape the air we breathe and the water we drink. Trees draw carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, helping to regulate the planet's temperature. They release oxygen as a byproduct, sustaining life not only in the forest but everywhere on Earth. Their leaves catch rain, slowing it to soak into the soil, filtering water and preventing floods. Forests are nature's filters and buffers, delicate yet powerful. The seasons transform forests in a rhythm both predictable and miraculous. Spring awakens the land with bursts of new growth and bright blooms. Summer hums with life as trees shade the earth and animals raise their young. Autumn paints leaves in fiery reds, golds, and oranges before they fall, creating a carpet that returns to nourish the soil. Winter brings a peaceful rest, a time for the forest to gather strength in silence, waiting for the cycle to begin again. This cycle of growth and decay is the forest's heartbeat, a reminder that life is a constant flow. Every fallen leaf feeds new plants, every broken branch provides shelter for tiny creatures. Death and renewal are woven together like threads in a tapestry, creating a balance that has lasted through ages of change. In this way, forests teach us about resilience, patience, and the power of gentle transformation. Imagine walking quietly through this green world. Feel the soft earth beneath your feet, the cool shade above, the scent of pine and moss in the air. Listen to the sounds, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of birds, the whisper of the wind through the branches. You are part of this living community, connected to the roots beneath and the sky above. Forests remind us that no life exists in isolation. Every tree, every animal, every insect depends on others. This web of life is fragile yet strong. It survives storms and droughts, fires and floods, adapting and growing. And in its breath, we find a reflection of ourselves, a reminder that connection and care are the roots of life. Let your heart open to the breath of forests, slow and steady, full of life and hope. Let it remind you that we are all woven together in the vast, green story of the earth, part of a dance that began long before us and will continue long after. As the forest story unfolds toward its quiet close, it invites us to reflect on the gentle strength it carries beneath its canopy. Forests are more than trees. They are the earth's heartbeat, steady and soft, pulsing through time. They hold memories of ancient rains, fires, and seasons, embracing both growth and loss in their endless rhythm. In this rhythm, life finds a balance, fragile yet enduring, delicate yet mighty. The forest floor is a world of transformation. Fallen leaves, twigs, and branches break down into rich soil, feeding new seedlings and nourishing roots that reach deep into the earth. Mushrooms and fungi weave their networks, connecting life underground and recycling nutrients. This quiet process is a reminder that death is not an end but a beginning, a gift that sustains the future. Above, the towering trees sway with the wind, their leaves rustling like a lullaby sung by the earth itself. Birds flit between branches, their songs blending into a chorus of life. Animals find shelter among the roots and shadows, living in harmony with the cycles of the forest. Each creature, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, plays a part in this intricate dance of survival and connection. Forests have long been places of wonder and reverence for humans. Many cultures see them as sacred, homes to spirits and ancestors. People have sought wisdom beneath their branches, finding peace in their shade and inspiration in their beauty. The forest's breath has soothed hearts, sparked creativity, and taught lessons about patience and respect for life. Yet forests face challenges. Logging, fires, climate change, and human expansion threaten these ancient places. When forests suffer, so does the Earth's breath. The delicate balance of air, water, and life can be disturbed, with consequences felt far beyond the trees. But hope grows as well. Around the world, people work to protect and restore forests, understanding that their survival is tied to ours. The forest's breath is a call to remember our place in the web of life. It teaches us to listen to the wind in the leaves, the drip of rain, the rustle of animals. It asks us to move gently, to nurture, to protect. In doing so, we honor the ancient rhythms that sustain us all. Imagine standing beneath the vast canopy at twilight. The light softens, colors deepen, and the forest begins its nightly song. Crickets chirp, owls hoot, and the wind sighs through the branches. You breathe deeply, feeling the cool, fragrant air fill your lungs. You are part of this living world, connected by breath and root, leaf and sky. Let the breath of forest settle softly in your soul. Let it remind you of the quiet power of life growing steadily, patiently, endlessly. And as you rest, carry with you the peace of green leaves, the wisdom of ancient trees, and the promise of new beginnings. In the breath of forests, we find the earth's heart, steady, kind, and full of wonder. Before there were cities and roads, before there were words to name the animals around us, life shaped itself slowly, patiently, like a sculptor carving from stone. The creatures of Earth are the result of millions of years of time stretching and folding like soft clay, molding forms from the rough beginnings of cells. Imagine a world where every living thing is connected through invisible threads of history, shaped by countless changes, each one a step in a grand, endless journey. Long ago, life began in the oceans as tiny, simple forms. But over time, those simple beings changed and grew, taking on new shapes and abilities. Some developed shells for protection, others fins for swimming, and some grew limbs strong enough to reach beyond the water. These early experiments in form and function were guided by the quiet force of natural selection, a process of trial and error, where those best suited to survive passed their traits forward. As creatures moved onto land, they faced new challenges. Gravity pulled harder, air was thinner, and the world was filled with unfamiliar dangers, but life adapted. Limbs grew stronger, lungs evolved to breathe air, skins toughened to keep moisture in. The first insects crawled through the underbrush, their bodies armored and delicate. Amphibians splashed from water to land, bridging two worlds with ease. Each creature carried stories in its bones, histories of survival, struggle, and change. Fossils, buried deep in rock, offer glimpses of these stories, frozen moments in time. They tell of giant reptiles that once ruled, of feathered dinosaurs that flew, of tiny mammals hiding in shadows. Each fossil is a chapter, a whisper from the past reminding us of life's incredible diversity and resilience. Nature's artist time has carved creatures not only for survival but also for beauty and wonder. The bright colors of birds and butterflies are not just decoration. They are signals of health, warnings to predators, and invitations to mates. Patterns on fur and scales help animals blend into their homes or stand out boldly. Every mark, every shape, is part of a language written in evolution's hand. Creatures are shaped by their environments, and environments by their creatures. Coral reefs build homes for fish and crustaceans. Forests shelter mammals and birds. Deserts host reptiles and insects adapted to heat and drought. Each ecosystem is a living gallery, filled with sculptures crafted by the slow work of time and chance. Adaptations can be surprising. Some animals glow in the dark, their bodies lighting up like stars to attract or confuse. Others mimic leaves or stones, hiding in plain sight. Some have learned to fly, others to swim, some to burrow deep into the earth. These innovations speak of life's endless creativity, its ability to find new ways to thrive. Imagine watching a cheetah sprinting across the grasslands, its body built for speed and power. Or a hummingbird hovering in midair, its wings beating so fast they blur like a dream. Picture a sea turtle gliding gracefully through the ocean, carrying the weight of time in its shell. Each creature, in its form and motion, tells a story of adaptation and survival. But creatures are more than their bodies. They carry instincts, memories, and even emotions. Some build homes, others form communities. Some migrate thousands of miles, guided by the stars and the Earth's magnetic field. Others use tools, solve problems, and communicate in ways we are only beginning to understand. Life is not just shaped by time, it is shaped by experience and connection. Now, as you imagine the creatures carved by time, think of yourself as part of this story. Your own body carries echoes of ancient forms, bones, muscles, and senses shaped by millions of years of evolution. You share this world with countless other beings, each one a masterpiece of time's slow hand. Together, you are threads woven into the rich tapestry of life. So let this story settle softly in your mind, like a gentle breeze stirring leaves. Remember that every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest whale, is a part of Earth's endless dance. A dance carved by time, guided by nature, and filled with wonder. Let us move deeper into the story of creatures, where the slow hand of time sculpts not just bodies, but entire ways of being. Life on Earth is a masterclass in adaptation, a quiet process where survival is a conversation between organism and environment. Every creature carries the mark of this dance, shaped by countless generations, responding to challenges and opportunities in their world. The forests, oceans, deserts, and plains are workshops of evolution, each with its own rules and rhythms. In the deep ocean, strange creatures glow in the blackness, their light a beacon in eternal night. On the savanna, animals run in herds, their patterns and speed honed by the threat of predators and the need to find water. In the arid deserts, reptiles bask under the hot sun, their skins reflecting heat and conserving moisture. Each habitat demands different tools, and life responds with endless creativity. Time's carvings are not always gentle. Extinctions sweep across the planet, wiping away entire families of creatures in sudden, sharp breaths of change. But in the aftermath, new life often bursts forth, filling empty spaces with fresh forms and new possibilities. The story of life is one of loss and renewal, endings and beginnings intertwined like the branches of a great tree. Some creatures surprise us with their intelligence and social bonds. Elephants remember places and faces, mourn their dead, and show kindness within their herds. Dolphins communicate with clicks and whistles, using language rich with meaning. Birds migrate thousands of miles guided by instinct and memory, while bees dance to tell their sisters where flowers bloom. These behaviors reveal a depth of connection that challenges our understanding of what it means to be alive. The process of natural selection shapes not only bodies but behaviors. Camouflage, mimicry, and warning colors are ways creatures negotiate the dangers of the world. Some animals play dead to avoid predators, others form alliances for protection and hunting. Life is a constant negotiation, a balance between risk and safety, curiosity and caution. Imagine a hummingbird hovering near a flower, its wings a blur as it drinks nectar. Its small body is a marvel of energy and precision, shaped by millions of years to find and extract food efficiently. Or picture a wolf pack moving silently through the forest, their coordinated hunt a story of cooperation and survival. Each action is a chapter in life's ongoing story, written with patience and care. Fossils remind us that creatures once lived in worlds very different from ours. Mammoths roamed icy tundras, giant sloths hung from ancient trees, and enormous sea reptiles swam in warm, shallow seas. These fossils are time capsules, preserving moments of life long past but still speaking to us across millions of years. They tell us about change, resilience, and the power of nature's hand. The genetic code within every creature is a map of history. DNA carries instructions shaped by evolution, passed down from parent to offspring. It holds the blueprint for bodies and behaviors, for survival and adaptation. Scientists are unlocking these codes, revealing the deep connections between all living things, from bacteria to humans. Life's diversity is a gift and a challenge. It fills the earth with color, sound, and movement. Yet it is fragile, vulnerable to change and loss. As humans, we have the power to protect and to harm. Understanding the stories carved by time helps us see our place in the web of life, our responsibility to care for the creatures who share this world. So let us listen to the stories written in scales, feathers, and fur. Let us watch the slow dance of evolution with wonder and respect. And as we do, let us remember that we are part of this story, creatures carved by time, connected by life, woven together in the great tapestry of Earth. As we reach the gentle closing of the tale about creatures carved by time, let us reflect on the delicate balance that life maintains through endless change. Every animal and plant carries within it the stories of survival and transformation, a heritage written not in words but in shapes, colors, and behaviors shaped over eons. Life is a mosaic of adaptation, each piece shaped by the slow, steady hand of nature. The creatures of Earth are not only shaped by their environments but also by each other. Predator and prey, hunter and forager, symbionts and rivals, these relationships form the complex web that sustains ecosystems. In the dance of life, every movement matters, every interaction ripples through the world. Cooperation and competition weave the fabric of existence. Some creatures surprise us with their ingenuity. Tool use, problem solving, and social cooperation show that life's intelligence is diverse and deep. Crows crafting hooks from twigs, octopuses escaping enclosures, wolves hunting in coordinated packs, these behaviors reveal a world rich with thought and feeling beyond what we once imagined. Life's creativity shines not only in form but in mind. Adaptation continues even now, as creatures face new challenges. Climate change, habitat loss, and human activity pressure species to evolve or migrate, to find new ways to survive. Some adapt quickly, others face extinction. This ongoing story reminds us that life is fragile but resilient, shaped by the tension between change and stability. Fossil records tell of great extinctions and recoveries, moments when life was nearly lost, but then blossomed anew. The story of life is not just one of survival but of renewal. Each ending brings a new beginning, each loss opens space for fresh growth. This cycle is the heartbeat of Earth's living history. Imagine standing quietly in a forest, watching a deer pause to drink at a stream. You see not just the animal before you but the echo of millions of years of evolution, the survival of species, the shaping by environment, the silent stories carried in fur and bone. You feel connected to something vast and ancient, a living chain stretching back to the dawn of life. The story of creatures carved by time is also our story. Humans share the earth with countless other beings, each one a masterpiece of nature's slow hand. Our bodies carry ancient legacies. Our minds inherit the creativity that has allowed life to flourish in endless forms. We are part of this great unfolding, both stewards and participants. As you rest in this thought, let it fill you with wonder and humility. Life's beauty is found in its diversity, its adaptability, its endless capacity for renewal. Every creature, great or small, is a thread in the tapestry of Earth, woven with care by time's patient hand. So let the story of creatures carved by time settle softly in your heart. Let it remind you of life's fragile strength and enduring spirit. And as you drift to rest, Carry with you the quiet knowledge that you are part of this story, a living thread in Earth's endless dance. Long before humans understood the sun, before we counted days or marked seasons, light was already a teacher. It shaped the world in silent, steady ways, guiding life's earliest steps and weaving patterns of growth and rest. Light is more than brightness. It is a rhythm, a pulse, a soft language that connects the earth to the sky and all living things to one another. Imagine the first rays of sunlight touching a still, ancient world. The light filters through clouds, dappling the surface of oceans and forests, warming stones and leaves. This light carries energy, the spark of life itself, pouring down from the sun, the great star that holds the solar system in its gentle embrace. Without this light, Earth would be cold and dark, a silent rock drifting in space. Life learned to listen to this light. The earliest organisms used it to power tiny chemical reactions, turning sunlight into energy in a process called photosynthesis. This gift from the sun transformed the atmosphere, filling the air with oxygen and opening the door for more complex life. Plants grew, trees rose, and forests spread across the land, all guided by the steady pulse of sunlight. Light teaches in cycles. Day and night, light and shadow, summer and winter. These rhythms shape the behavior of all living things. Animals wake with the dawn and rest at dusk. Flowers open and close their petals in time with the sun's journey. Even deep in the ocean, where sunlight fades, creatures sense the passing of time through subtle changes in light and dark. Our own bodies carry this ancient knowledge. Within us, tiny clocks tick in harmony with the sun, regulating sleep, hunger, and mood. These circadian rhythms are a legacy of life's long dance with light, a reminder that we are part of a world ruled by the rising and setting of the sun. Light also paints the world in color. The blues of the sky, the greens of the leaves, the reds of a sunset, these colors come from the way light interacts with matter. Creatures use color for communication, camouflage, and beauty. The brilliant feathers of birds, the shifting hues of fish, the bright petals of flowers, all are stories told in light. But light can be both gentle and fierce. Too much sun can scorch the skin or dry the soil. Life has adapted to balance these forces. Thick bark protects trees, scales shield reptiles, and pigments guard against harm. Even humans wear hats and seek shade, learning to respect the power of light. At night, the absence of light brings its own lessons. The darkness reveals stars, distant fires of light from other worlds. Creatures of the night awaken, guided by moonlight and starlight. The moon's glow shapes tides and rhythms, a softer teacher that whispers in silver and shadow. Light connects us to the cosmos. The photons that reach Earth today began their journey long ago, traveling across space and time to touch our world. When you see sunlight filtering through a window, you are witnessing a connection to the vast universe, a silent gift carried on waves of energy. Imagine standing in a field at dawn, feeling the cool air and watching the first light spill across the land. The world awakens slowly, bathed in golden hues. This moment, repeated countless times, holds the story of life's awakening, the ancient dance between earth and sun. So let the light that taught us settle softly in your mind. Let it remind you of the gentle rhythms that shape life, the connections between sky and soil, star and leaf. And as you rest, carry with you the warmth and wonder of this silent teacher, the light that guides us all. Let us drift deeper into the story of light, a journey that stretches from the distant stars to the smallest leaf. Light is a teacher that does not speak with words but with patterns and rhythms, shaping life in subtle, profound ways. It guides plants to grow, animals to move, and even us to find our place in the world. In forests, light filters through the canopy, creating patches of brightness and shadow. Trees grow tall, reaching for the sun, while shade-loving plants thrive beneath. This dance of light and dark creates a rich tapestry of life, where every creature finds its niche. Leaves turn toward the sun, unfolding like tiny hands to catch the light's gentle touch. The forest floor, dappled with sunlight, teems with life adapting to these changing patterns. Light also tells time. The length of day changes with seasons, signaling plants when to bloom and animals when to migrate. Some flowers open only at dawn, others close as night falls. Birds sing in the morning light and rest in the fading glow. Even the cycles of sleep and wakefulness in humans are tied to this ancient rhythm, a silent pulse embedded deep within our cells. Underwater, light takes on a different role. As sunlight penetrates the ocean's surface, it fades quickly, creating layers of color and shadow. Coral reefs burst with color where light reaches, supporting vibrant communities of fish and plants. Deeper down, creatures have adapted to the dim, using bioluminescence, light made by living things, to communicate, attract mates, or hunt. This glow in the dark is a secret language, a reminder that light's story extends beyond the sun. Light's influence stretches beyond biology. It shapes weather and climate, warming the earth and driving winds and currents. Sunlight melts glaciers and fuels storms, shaping landscapes and ecosystems. Without light, Earth would be frozen and lifeless, a silent rock spinning in the void. The colors we see are gifts of light interacting with matter. When sunlight hits an object, some wavelengths bounce back to our eyes, creating the world's palette. The reds of autumn leaves, the blue of the sky, the gold of a sunset, all tell stories of light's journey. Animals use color for survival and communication. Bright frogs warn predators, camouflage helps moths hide, and birds display brilliant feathers to attract mates. Humans have learned to harness light in many ways. From fire and torches to candles and lamps, we have chased away darkness and extended our days. The invention of the telescope opened the heavens, revealing stars and galaxies beyond imagination. Photography captures moments in light's embrace. Solar energy, a modern gift, turns sunlight into power, connecting us anew to the star that sustains life. Yet light also teaches humility. Its brilliance can blind or burn. Life has adapted with protections, pigments, behaviors, and shelters that balance light's gifts and dangers. Even in the harshest deserts where sunlight is fierce, life finds ways to thrive, embracing both light and shadow. Imagine standing at twilight, the sun dipping below the horizon, painting the sky with soft pinks and purples. The world shifts from day to night, light fading but not gone. Stars begin to twinkle, moonlight casts a gentle glow. This transition is a reminder of light's constant flow, its cycles of presence and absence guiding life's rhythms. Light connects us not only to Earth but to the universe. The photons reaching us from the sun started their journey millions of years ago, a silent message from the cosmos. When you feel sunlight on your skin, you touch the vastness of space and time, a thread weaving us into the greater story of existence. So let the light that taught us flow softly through your thoughts. Let it remind you of the rhythms that shape life, the dance of shadow and shine, the endless journey from star to leaf. And as you rest, carry with you the quiet warmth and wonder of this ancient teacher, the light that guides and holds us all. As we move toward the quiet close of light's story, let us reflect on the deep lessons it offers, not only about illumination but about connection, growth, and change. Light is a constant companion, a silent teacher that shapes life in ways both seen and unseen. It is a reminder that every moment holds possibility, that darkness is followed by dawn, and that growth comes with patience and care. Throughout Earth's history, light has driven the cycles of life. From the tiny algae that first captured sunlight to power their cells, to the tallest trees stretching skyward, life has learned to dance with light's rhythms. Flowers bloom in response to lengthening days, animals time their migrations to the sun's journey, and even the cells within our bodies follow patterns set by ancient light cycles. The sun's rays warm the earth, creating winds and currents that shape climate and weather. Light fuels photosynthesis, the magical process that turns sunlight into the energy that sustains nearly all life. Without light, the earth would be silent and still, a frozen orb drifting in the vastness of space. But with light comes motion, change, and endless possibility. Humans have always been fascinated by light. We worshiped the sun as a god, built monuments aligned with its path, and used its cycles to mark time and seasons. We learned to capture its power in fire, then in electricity, bringing light into darkness and extending our reach. Our understanding of light has led to discoveries in physics, astronomy, and medicine, expanding our knowledge and opening new horizons. Yet light also reminds us of limits. Too much exposure can harm, and shadows remind us of mystery and rest. The interplay of light and dark is a dance of balance, teaching us that life is shaped by contrasts, warmth and cold, growth and rest, knowledge and wonder. In the quiet moments of dawn and dusk, light softens and changes, painting the world in colors that shift and blend. These moments invite reflection, a pause to appreciate the subtle beauty in transitions. The fading light of evening whispers of rest and renewal, preparing the world for night's embrace and the promise of a new day. Light connects us across space and time. The photons reaching us now have traveled from the sun's core, a journey that began millions of years ago. When you feel sunlight on your skin or see the glow of a candle, you touch a story that stretches across the cosmos, a reminder of our place in the vast universe. Imagine standing in a quiet meadow as the first light of morning spreads across the land. Feel the warmth and energy stirring life around you. Hear the gentle sounds of awakening creatures and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. This moment holds the essence of light's gift, a beginning, a promise, a connection to all that lives. So let the light that taught us rest softly in your heart. Let it fill you with warmth, hope, and wonder. And as you close your eyes, carry with you the quiet knowledge that you are held in the light of the stars, of the sun, and of the endless dance that sustains life itself. Long before words were spoken, before languages blossomed, stones held stories. They are the silent storytellers of Earth's deep past, carved by time's patient hand and shaped by forces unseen. Imagine a world where the ground beneath your feet whispers ancient secrets, secrets held in layers of rock, in the grain of minerals, in the folding of mountains and valleys. Stones began their story deep within the earth, born from fire and pressure. Molten rock cooled and hardened, forming the first crust of our planet. Over millions of years, these stones were pushed and pulled by tectonic plates, cracked by ice and rain, worn smooth by rivers and winds. Each crack, each layer, is a chapter in the Earth's long history. Fossils embedded within stones are windows to worlds long gone. They capture moments of life frozen in time, the imprint of a leaf, the shell of an ancient creature, the bones of giants that once roamed. These stone pages tell stories of evolution, extinction, and rebirth, whispering the tale of life's unfolding across ages. Stones shape the landscapes that cradle life. Mountains rise as their bones, cliffs stand as their faces, rivers carve paths through their flesh. Valleys and plains, deserts and caves, all are sculpted by the slow work of stone and time. These features influence climate, habitats, and the movement of creatures, shaping the story of Earth's living web. The minerals within stones hold mysteries of the planet's formation. Quartz, mica, feldspar, each mineral tells a tale of heat, pressure, and chemistry. Gems and crystals form in hidden chambers, sparkling with the light of Earth's deep fires. They are Earth's jewels, born from silence and darkness, waiting to be discovered. Stones also carry human history. Ancient tools chipped from flint, walls built from sandstone, sculptures carved from marble, these speak of our connection to the Earth's solid heart. We have shaped stones, but stones have shaped us too, grounding us, inspiring us, reminding us of our place in the world. Imagine walking through a canyon, the towering walls layered with colors and textures that tell stories millions of years old. Feel the cool shade cast by stone cliffs, hear the echo of footsteps on rocky paths. The stones surround you, steady and patient, holding memories of fire, water, wind, and life. Even the smallest pebble has a story, a journey from mountain to river to shore, shaped by the gentle touch of water and time. Stones remind us that change is slow and steady, that beauty is found in texture and time, in the layers beneath the surface. In silence, stones speak to us. They tell us to listen, to watch, to remember the deep past that lives beneath our feet. They connect us to the planet's heart, a place of endurance, transformation, and quiet strength. So let the stones begin to speak softly in your mind. Let their stories settle like dust on ancient paths, carrying you through time and space to the very roots of Earth's story, where fire cooled to rock, and life began its journey among the stones. Now let us journey deeper into the hidden language of stones, where time is folded into layers and whispers echo through ancient cracks. Stones are not silent. They hold memories of heat and pressure, of movement and stillness, of worlds transformed by forces both violent and gentle. Each grain, each fissure, carries a story waiting to be heard. Beneath the surface, stones are shaped by heat from the Earth's core and pressure from the weight above. This intense embrace transforms minerals, forging new crystals and rocks that tell tales of fire and ice. Metamorphic stones like marble and slate are born from this slow alchemy, their layers folded like pages in an ancient book. They remind us that beneath stillness lies a world of change. Igneous stones tell another story, one of molten rock cooling and hardening into solid form. Basalt and granite are the fingerprints of volcanic fires, evidence of Earth's fiery heart. When volcanoes erupt, they pour lava that cools into stone, building mountains and islands, reshaping the surface with both fury and creation. These stones are Earth's scars and its new beginnings. Sedimentary stones speak softly of water's patient work. Layers of sand, mud, and tiny shells settle in ancient seas and rivers, pressed down over millions of years to form sandstone, shale, and limestone. These rocks are pages of Earth's history, preserving fossils and records of climates and environments long vanished. They carry the memory of oceans and deserts, of life's rise and fall. In caves deep beneath the ground, stalactites and stalagmites grow drop by drop, a slow sculpture carved by water and time. These formations hold secrets of ancient climates and the passage of ages, their shapes telling stories of quiet persistence. Inside these dark chambers, the earth breathes softly, weaving patterns that have taken thousands of years to form. Stones also guide the flow of rivers and the shape of landscapes. Hard rocks resist erosion, forming cliffs and ridges, while softer stones wear away, creating valleys and plains. This interplay of resistance and change crafts the world's surface, shaping habitats and paths for creatures great and small. The land beneath us is a mosaic of stone stories, each telling of the forces that shaped it. Humans have long turned to stones for shelter, tools, and art. Flint sharpened into arrowheads, granite carved into monuments, sandstone stacked into walls. These are echoes of our ancestors' hands, shaping and shaped by the earth. Stones connect us to the past, grounding us in a shared history that stretches back through time. Imagine walking through a landscape carved by stone, cliffs rising sharply, boulders scattered like ancient sentinels, rivers winding through rocky beds. Feel the texture of stone beneath your fingers, rough and cool, solid and enduring. Hear the soft crackle of pebbles underfoot, the whisper of wind against rock faces. Stones are the bones of the earth, strong and steady. Even the smallest fragment tells a story of journeys through fire, water, and wind. Pebbles worn smooth by rivers carry memories of mountains far away, tracing paths carved by glaciers and floods. Stones remind us of the slow passage of time, the power of patience, and the beauty of transformation. In listening to stones, we learn to see the world as a tapestry woven from enduring threads. We are reminded that beneath our feet lies a vast history, shaped by forces ancient and ongoing. Stones speak of resilience, change, and the quiet strength that underpins all life. So let the language of stones flow softly into your thoughts. Let their stories deepen your sense of connection to the earth's past and present. And as you rest, carry with you the steady, enduring voice of stones, the storytellers of time. Now, as we draw the final chapter of the stone's story, let us sit quietly with their wisdom, a story of endurance, transformation, and silent strength. Stones have witnessed the unfolding of Earth's history, holding memories deeper than time itself. They remind us that beneath change lies continuity, beneath chaos, a steady hand. Mountains carved from stone stand as monuments to Earth's fiery past, their peaks weathered but unyielding. Valleys shaped by rivers flow with water that once wore down stone, carrying its stories downstream. Deserts spread with stones scattered like ancient bones, whispering of wind and heat. Every stone tells of forces that have shaped the planet, slow yet powerful, relentless yet patient. Fossils trapped within stones are echoes of life long gone, a record of the creatures who once walked, swam, and soared. They speak of ages when Earth's climate shifted, seas rose and fell, and life adapted or vanished. These silent witnesses connect past to present, reminding us of the delicate balance between life and environment. Human hands have shaped stones into homes, tools, and art, a testament to our deep bond with the Earth's solid heart. From ancient cairns marking paths to grand cathedrals reaching skyward, stone carries our stories as we carry its memory. This connection grounds us, reminding us that we are part of the Earth's ongoing narrative. Even in quiet moments, stones teach patience. Their slow changes, measured in millennia, challenge our hurried lives. They ask us to slow down, to listen, to respect the deep time that shapes all things. Stones invite us to find strength in stillness, beauty in endurance, and peace in permanence. Imagine resting your hand on a cool rock, feeling its steady presence. You touch a piece of Earth's soul, solid, enduring, and full of stories. In that contact, there is a connection that bridges time and space, linking you to the forces that formed mountains, carved rivers, and nurtured life. Stones remind us that life itself is shaped by slow, patient change. Just as mountains rise and fall, just as rivers carve canyons, our lives are formed through small moments, steady growth, and resilience. In this, we find hope, a reminder that even in the face of challenge, we endure and evolve. So let the stone's final story settle softly within you. Carry their quiet strength and ancient wisdom as a light in the dark, a steady presence in shifting times. And as you close your eyes, rest in the knowledge that you are part of this grand, timeless story, held in the hands of Earth, cradled by stones that began to speak. Long before cities rose and civilizations bloomed, rivers traced the face of the earth like soft, silver threads weaving through ancient land. They began as tiny streams, born from melting snow and gentle rains, gathering strength as they flowed through valleys and plains. These rivers are Earth's slow artists, carving canyons, shaping mountains, and nourishing the soil, crafting the very ground we call home. Imagine a drop of water falling high in the mountains, beginning a journey that will stretch for hundreds or even thousands of miles. It slips into a narrow creek, joining other drops to form a ribbon of liquid life. As the river grows, it carries with it stories of the land, grains of sand, pieces of stone, fallen leaves, all swept along in its endless movement. The river's voice is a constant murmur, a song of motion and change. Rivers have power not just in their flow but in their persistence. Over millions of years, they have shaped landscapes, cutting deep valleys and sculpting cliffs with patient determination. The Grand Canyon, carved by the Colorado River, tells a story written in layers of stone, a testament to water's slow but unstoppable force. Each bend, each rapid, each pool is a moment in this ongoing story. Water in rivers moves in rhythms, rising with rains and melting snows, falling in dry seasons. These cycles shape life along their banks, creating habitats rich with plants and animals. Fish swim upstream to spawn, birds nest in trees watered by the river, and mammals drink from its cool pools. The river is a lifeline, connecting ecosystems and supporting biodiversity. Rivers also hold memory. They carry sediments that tell of distant mountains, volcanic eruptions, and ancient climates. By studying these sediments, scientists learn about Earth's past, understanding how landscapes and life have changed. Rivers are natural archives, preserving stories in their beds. The river's journey is never straight. It meanders, carving curves that shift over time. These meanders create wetlands, floodplains, and rich soils that have fed humans for thousands of years. Early civilizations grew along riverbanks, the Nile, the Tigris, the Indus, nourished by waters that promised life and abundance. Water's movement shapes human history as well. Rivers have been roads and borders, sources of power and inspiration. They carry stories of travel and trade, of floods and droughts, of communities rising and falling. The river's song is intertwined with our own. Imagine standing on the bank of a river, feeling the cool breeze and hearing the soft rush of water over stones. The river invites you to listen to its steady flow, its ancient rhythms, and the life it nurtures. It reminds us that the ground beneath us is shaped by forces both gentle and mighty. The rivers that carved our home are a testament to time's patient artistry. They teach us about connection, resilience, and change. In their endless journey, they carry the story of Earth, a story of water and stone, life and time, movement and stillness. So let the river's song flow softly through your thoughts. Let it carry you on a journey through ancient valleys and forests, across mountains and plains. And as you rest, feel the river's gentle power, shaping the world, sustaining life, and carving the story of home. Now let us drift deeper into the heart of rivers, those winding lifelines that pulse through the Earth's veins. Beneath their shimmering surfaces flows a world of motion, change, and connection, a world where water shapes not only land but life itself. Rivers are not mere channels of water. They are living systems, carrying stories of distant mountains, ancient rains, and the countless creatures that call their banks home. Rivers begin high in the mountains, where snow melts and springs bubble forth. These humble beginnings gather strength as tributaries join, creating currents that flow faster and wider. Along their journey, rivers collect minerals, sediments, and organic matter, weaving together elements from across the landscape. They carve through rock and soil, shaping valleys and floodplains in a slow, steady dance with time. The power of rivers is both gentle and fierce. In times of flood, their waters spill over banks, depositing nutrient-rich silt that breathes life into soils. These fertile floodplains become cradles of biodiversity, nurturing forests, wetlands, and fields. Yet rivers can also roar in storms, reshaping their courses, uprooting trees, and carrying debris downstream. This dual nature is part of their enduring story, a balance of destruction and renewal. Within rivers, life flourishes in remarkable diversity. Fish navigate currents with grace, some swimming upstream against the flow to spawn in the very waters where they were born. Insects hatch from underwater eggs, providing food for birds that dance above the rippling surface. Mammals come to drink and bathe, while amphibians sing their nocturnal songs in the reeds and shallows. Every ripple carries the pulse of ecosystems connected by water. Rivers are highways of migration and movement. Many species rely on their pathways to travel vast distances, connecting habitats and populations. Salmon journeys from the ocean to freshwater streams, guided by the scent of home. Birds follow river corridors during migrations, finding food and shelter along the way. Humans, too, have followed rivers for millennia, using them as routes for trade, travel, and communication. The sediment carried by rivers is a storyteller's ink, writing the history of Earth in layers of mud, sand, and gravel. These sediments preserve fossils, pollen, and artifacts, revealing ancient climates, ecosystems, and civilizations. By reading these natural records, scientists uncover the Earth's past, understanding how landscapes have evolved and how life has adapted. Rivers connect land and sea, delivering freshwater and nutrients to estuaries where rivers meet oceans. These transition zones are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth, supporting rich fisheries and diverse wildlife. The mixing of fresh and salt water creates a dynamic environment, a place of growth, change, and life's resilience. Imagine standing beside a river as the sun sets, the water reflecting hues of gold and crimson. Feel the cool breeze, hear the gentle splash of fish and the rustle of leaves. The river invites you to become part of its story, to listen to its song of movement and memory. It reminds us that life is fluid, interconnected, and ever-changing. The rivers that carved our home teach us about patience and persistence. Their slow, steady flow shapes mountains and plains alike, reminding us that even the mightiest changes begin with small, consistent steps. They carry the history of Earth, the breath of life, and the promise of renewal. So let the river's gentle power flow through your thoughts. Let it carry you on a journey across time and space, through the landscapes and lives it touches. And as you rest, feel the quiet strength of water moving endlessly, shaping the world, sustaining life, and carving the story of home. As we come to the quiet close of the river's story, let us reflect on the gentle but unstoppable force that water carries through the earth's vast tapestry. Rivers, born in mountain springs and fed by rains and snows, have carved valleys and nourished plains, shaping the very face of the world where life flourishes. Their journey is a testament to patience, connection, and renewal. Rivers teach us that strength is often found in persistence. With slow and steady flow, they shape mighty canyons and fertile deltas, carving stone and soil alike. The Grand Canyon stands as a monument to their endless work, a deep scar etched by water's quiet power. Each twist and turn of a river tells a story of time, endurance, and transformation. Along riverbanks, life pulses in abundance. Trees stretch their roots deep into moist soil, birds build nests in leafy branches, and mammals gather for sustenance and shelter. The wetlands and floodplains formed by rivers are cradles of biodiversity, places where life renews itself with every flood and ebb. These rich habitats are essential threads in the fabric of Earth's ecosystems. The human story is deeply entwined with rivers. Early civilizations blossomed along their banks, drawing water, food, and transport from these liquid lifelines. The Nile, the Tigris, the Indus. These rivers nurtured societies, cultures, and histories that shaped our world. Rivers have been both gifts and challenges, offering abundance and sometimes destruction through floods. Water's journey connects land to sea, carrying sediments and nutrients that sustain coastal ecosystems. Estuaries and deltas are vibrant places where fresh and salt water mingle, creating habitats rich in life and productivity. These transition zones are crucial for fish spawning, bird migrations, and human livelihoods, illustrating the river's role in sustaining interconnected worlds. Imagine standing at the edge of a river as twilight falls, the water glowing softly under the fading light. Listen to the gentle rush, the song of life moving through currents and eddies. Feel the cool breeze and the rhythm of water flowing steadily toward the sea. In this moment, the river's story becomes your own, a story of journey, change, and hope. Rivers remind us that life is shaped by constant movement and connection. They flow through landscapes and communities, linking mountains to oceans, past to present. Their waters carry the memory of Earth's history and the promise of future growth, a cycle of life renewed again and again. So let the river's story rest gently in your heart. Let it inspire patience, resilience, and respect for the natural world. And as you close your eyes, carry with you the quiet strength of rivers, shaping the earth, sustaining life, and carving the story of home. Long before words were spoken and before humans learned to listen, the wind carried stories across the earth. It is a silent traveler, weaving through forests, climbing mountains, and sweeping across deserts, whispering secrets held in its breath. The wind is more than air in motion. It is a voice of nature, a messenger between sky and land, a force shaping the world in subtle and powerful ways. Imagine a gentle breeze brushing through leaves, setting them to dance and sing in soft rustles. This movement is the wind's language, a delicate conversation with trees, flowers, and grasses. The wind carries scents of earth and rain, salt from the sea, and the sweetness of blooming flowers. It connects places far apart, carrying pollen to fertilize, seeds to new homes, and whispers that stir imagination. Winds are born from the sun's warmth and the earth's rotation. As the sun heats the ground, warm air rises and cooler air rushes in to take its place, creating currents that circle the globe. These currents shape climates and weather patterns, driving storms and breezes alike. The trade winds, the monsoons, the gusts that sweep across plains, all are threads in the Earth's breath, moving life and energy around the planet. The power of wind is both gentle and fierce. It sculpts landscapes by carrying sand and dust, shaping dunes in deserts and smoothing stones in rivers. It can lift seeds high into the sky, giving life new places to grow. But wind can also roar in storms, bending trees and reshaping coastlines. Its voice can be a soft lullaby or a wild howl, telling stories of calm and chaos. Animals have learned to listen and respond to the wind. Birds ride its currents, soaring on thermal updrafts, traveling thousands of miles guided by invisible paths. Insects use the wind to spread their wings, traveling to new places in search of food and shelter. Even humans have harnessed wind's power, sailing seas, grinding grain, and now capturing its energy to light our homes. The wind also carries the past. Dust storms pick up ancient particles from distant lands, spreading them across continents. Scientists study these airborne travelers to learn about climates long ago, volcanic eruptions, and the health of distant ecosystems. The wind is a natural historian, keeping memories alive in its flow. Imagine standing on a hilltop, feeling the wind's breath against your skin. It lifts your hair, cools your face, and carries the scent of earth and rain. You can almost hear its whispers, the stories it tells as it moves through trees, grasses, and clouds. The wind invites you to listen, to the quiet language of nature and time. The winds that whisper secrets remind us of connection and change. They link sky and land, past and present, life and movement. They teach us to be patient and to embrace the unseen forces shaping our world. In their endless dance, they carry the story of Earth's breath, a song of freedom, mystery, and life. So let the wind's gentle voice flow softly through your thoughts. Let it carry you on a journey across mountains and deserts, forests and seas. And as you rest, feel the wind's quiet power shaping the world, moving life and whispering the secrets of home. Let us drift deeper into the world of winds, invisible currents that shape landscapes, carry stories, and connect all corners of the earth. Though unseen, wind's presence is felt everywhere. In the sway of trees, the ripple of oceans, the shifting sands of deserts. It moves with purpose, guided by the sun's warmth and the planet's slow spin, creating patterns that influence life across the globe. Wind begins its journey where air warms unevenly, rising in one place and falling in another. This dance of temperature and pressure creates winds that can be soft as a whisper or fierce as a storm. As it travels, wind carries particles, dust from deserts, pollen from flowers, salt from the sea, weaving a tapestry of matter and memory across the sky. The wind is a sculptor of Earth's surface. In deserts, it shapes dunes that rise and fall like waves, shifting sand with patient persistence. Along coasts, winds whip up waves that crash and carve cliffs, shaping shorelines over centuries. Even forests feel the wind's touch, which prunes branches, scatters seeds, and carries moisture that feeds life. Wind is a force of creation and transformation, shaping habitats with invisible hands. Animals have adapted in wondrous ways to the presence of wind. Birds use air currents to soar effortlessly, traveling thousands of miles with minimal effort. Some insects, like butterflies and moths, hitch rides on the breeze, expanding their range and seeking new homes. Even seeds and spores rely on wind to disperse, ensuring the continuation of plants and fungi. Wind is a partner in life's endless journey. In human history, wind has been a guide and a power source. Sailboats have traversed oceans, carried by trade winds that open paths across vast waters. Windmills have ground grain and pumped water, harnessing the invisible currents for human needs. Today, towering turbines catch the wind's energy, turning it into electricity that lights cities and warms homes. Our relationship with wind is ancient and evolving. The wind also carries the Earth's history. Dust storms transport tiny particles across continents, linking far-off places in an airborne web. Scientists study these particles to understand ancient climates, volcanic eruptions, and environmental changes. Wind-borne seeds and spores reveal the spread of species over time. Through wind, the planet's story flows in endless circulation. Imagine standing on a high ridge, feeling the wind's cool breath as it rushes past. Hear the whistle as it moves through rocks and trees. Smell the freshness it brings from distant seas. The wind invites you to become part of its journey, to feel its energy and listen to its ancient secrets. It teaches us about movement, connection, and the unseen forces that shape life. Winds remind us that life is never still. It flows, shifts, and changes, shaped by forces both visible and invisible. The wind's endless dance connects mountain to ocean, forest to desert, past to present. It teaches patience and flexibility, urging us to move with grace and resilience through the currents of change. So let the wind's soft whispers fill your thoughts. Let it carry you across vast landscapes and through the skies. And as you rest, feel the quiet strength of wind, shaping the earth, moving life and whispering secrets of the world we call home. As the story of the wind comes to its soft close, let us listen once more to the whispers carried across mountains, valleys, and seas. The wind is a silent traveler, an invisible artist shaping the earth's surface and the lives it touches. Its breath connects all living things, carrying tales of distant places, ancient times, and the eternal dance between air and land. The wind moves with a quiet power that is both gentle and fierce. It bends the tallest trees, sculpts the shifting sands of deserts, and sends clouds sailing across the sky. Its voice can be a lullaby, soothing and soft, or a roar, wild and untamed. Through storms and calm days alike, the wind remains a constant presence, a force that shapes weather, climate, and life itself. Creatures great and small have learned to read the wind's signals. Birds ride its currents to migrate thousands of miles, guided by invisible streams of air. Insects catch the breeze to disperse, carrying their lives far and wide. Even humans have followed the wind's paths, using sails and turbines to harness its power, building connections across oceans and lands. The wind is a bridge, linking life and place in an endless journey. The wind carries more than air, it carries memory. Dust from ancient deserts drifts across continents, pollen from faraway flowers finds new homes, and seeds float on breezes to start life in new places. Scientists study these airborne travelers to uncover stories of Earth's past, volcanic eruptions, climate shifts, and ecological changes. The wind is a storyteller, a keeper of secrets written in invisible currents. Imagine standing on a windswept cliff as the sun sets, feeling the cool air brushing your face. The wind carries the scent of salt from the sea, the freshness of rain, and the earthiness of distant forests. You close your eyes and listen to the sound, the rustle of grasses, the whistle through rocks, the sigh of the endless sky. The wind speaks in a language without words, inviting you to be still, to listen, to understand. Winds remind us of the delicate balance between power and gentleness, between movement and stillness. They teach patience through their slow shaping of dunes and mountains, and they demand respect in their wild tempests. The wind's journey is a lesson in resilience, adaptability, and connection, qualities that echo through all life. As the wind whispers its final secrets, it invites us to remember our place in this vast, moving world. We are part of the Earth's breath, connected to sky and soil, to forests and seas. Like the wind, we carry stories, dreams, and hopes, moving through time and space with grace and strength. So let the wind story settle softly in your heart. Let it fill you with wonder and peace. And as you rest, carry with you the gentle power of the wind, shaping the earth, moving life, and whispering the timeless secrets of our shared home. Before trees touched the clouds and birds soared overhead, the Earth's surface was quiet and bare, waiting patiently beneath a vast sky. It was soil that held the promise of life, a hidden world beneath our feet where countless stories began. Soil is more than dirt. It is the Earth's skin, a living, breathing layer woven from rock, water, air, and life itself. Imagine the slow creation of soil, a process that takes centuries and centuries. Rocks break down, cracked by sun and rain, worn by wind and time. Their fragments mix with the remains of plants and animals. Tiny pieces of life return to the earth. This rich, dark substance becomes a cradle for new growth, a place where seeds can take root and dreams of forests and fields begin. Soil is alive with creatures too small to see. Earthworms tunnel through its depths, loosening the earth and recycling nutrients. Bacteria and fungi form networks, breaking down organic matter and sharing nourishment with plants. These microscopic workers build a world beneath the surface, one that supports all life above. The layers of soil tell stories of seasons past, of floods and droughts, of fires and growth. Each horizon is a page, marked by color and texture, by minerals and memories. From the rich humus of the topsoil to the rocky fragments below, the soil holds the Earth's history and the seeds of its future. Soil breathes too, exchanging gases with the air above. It holds water like a sponge, slowly releasing it to roots and streams. It filters pollutants and protects the land from erosion. The health of soil is the health of the earth, a foundation for life's endless cycle. Plants grow by reaching into soil's embrace, sending roots deep to find water and nutrients. In return, they feed the soil with fallen leaves, dead roots, and organic matter. This dance between earth and life creates a delicate balance, a partnership that sustains forests, grasslands, and gardens. Humans have long depended on soil. It feeds our crops, holds our buildings, and shapes our landscapes. Yet soil is fragile, vulnerable to erosion, pollution, and misuse. Protecting soil is protecting life itself, a task that calls for patience and care. Imagine kneeling on soft earth, feeling its coolness and texture. You touch a world alive with tiny creatures and ancient stories. The soil beneath your hands is the earth's memory and promise, a place where life begins and renews. The soil that feeds the sky teaches us about connection and nurture. It reminds us that life depends on unseen work, on slow transformation and quiet care. It holds the story of Earth's living skin, a story of patience, resilience, and endless growth. So let the soil's story settle gently in your mind. Let it root you in the Earth's deep rhythms and the cycle of life. And as you rest, feel the quiet strength beneath your feet, a world alive, feeding the sky and all who live beneath it. Now let us delve deeper into the hidden world beneath our feet, the soil, a living tapestry of life, earth, and water intertwined. Soil is a universe unto itself, home to countless creatures too small to see, each playing a vital role in shaping the land and supporting life above. It is a place of transformation, where decay becomes nourishment, and where the cycle of life turns endlessly. Beneath the surface, bacteria and fungi weave networks, breaking down fallen leaves and dead roots into nutrients that plants can absorb. This underground web, sometimes called the wood wide web, connects roots of different plants, allowing them to share resources and communicate warnings. It is a silent symphony of cooperation, a reminder that beneath competition lies connection. Earthworms, often called the farmers of the soil, tunnel tirelessly, aerating the earth and mixing organic matter deep into its layers. Their movements create tiny channels that allow air and water to reach plant roots, nourishing the green world above. Without these small architects, soil would become compacted and lifeless, unable to sustain the forest or the field. The soil's layers tell stories of time and change. Topsoil rich with organic material supports the growth of trees and grasses, while deeper layers contain minerals carried down by water over centuries. Clay, sand, and silt mingle in this matrix, creating textures that hold water and nutrients in delicate balance. This balance is essential for life, regulating moisture and providing stability. Water moves slowly through soil, filtering impurities and nourishing plants. It carries dissolved minerals and nutrients, feeding roots and microbes alike. During dry seasons, soil acts like a sponge, holding precious moisture close until rains return. This dynamic flow of water is vital for ecosystems, shaping plant growth and animal habitats. Soil also holds a memory of past climates and ecosystems. Pollen grains, seeds, and microorganisms preserved in its depths offer clues to scientists studying Earth's history. Through soil, we learn how landscapes have changed, how plants and animals have responded, and how human activity has altered the land. Human hands have shaped soil's story too. Farming, gardening, and land management all depend on understanding soil's needs and limits. Practices that nurture soil health, like crop rotation, composting, and reduced tillage, help preserve this living resource. But careless use can lead to erosion, nutrient loss, and desertification, threatening the very foundation of life. Imagine sinking your fingers into soft, rich soil, feeling its coolness and texture. You are touching a world alive with movement and change, a place where life renews itself with every fallen leaf and every raindrop. The soil beneath your hands is a living archive, holding the breath of the earth. The soil that feeds the sky teaches patience, resilience, and care. It reminds us that life depends on delicate balance and unseen work. It connects the smallest microbe to the tallest tree, the quiet earth to the vast sky. Through soil, we see the deep interconnectedness of all things. So let the soil story flow softly through your thoughts. Let it ground you in the rhythms of the earth and the endless cycle of growth and decay. And as you rest, feel the strength beneath your feet, a living world that feeds the sky and all who call this planet home. As we come to the quiet close of soil's story, let us reflect on the deep, patient work it performs beneath our feet. Soil is more than earth. It is the foundation of life, a living layer that supports forests, fields, and gardens. It holds the memory of ancient lands, the promise of growth, and the cycles of decay and renewal that shape our world. Soil breathes with life. Microbes, fungi, and tiny creatures move through its depths, breaking down organic matter and releasing nutrients. Earthworms tunnel tirelessly, aerating the earth and mixing its layers. Together, they create a fertile world that sustains plants, animals, and humans alike. Without soil's quiet labor, life above could not thrive. The layers of soil tell stories of seasons past, floods and droughts, fires and regrowth. Each horizon marks a chapter in Earth's history, a record of time's slow hand. Minerals washed from distant mountains mingle with decayed leaves and roots, forming the rich dark humus that nourishes new life. Soil holds the legacy of Earth's past and the promise of its future. Plants reach deep into soil's embrace, drawing water and nutrients to fuel growth. In return, they feed the soil with fallen leaves, dead roots, and living root exudates. This dance of give and take sustains forests, prairies, and farmlands. Soil and plant form a partnership essential to Earth's cycles, a living web of connection. Humans have learned to depend on soil's gifts, cultivating crops, planting gardens, and building homes. Yet soil is fragile, vulnerable to erosion, pollution, and misuse. Protecting soil means protecting life itself, a call for stewardship and care. Healthy soil means healthy plants, clean water, and balanced ecosystems. Imagine kneeling on soft earth, feeling its cool texture and the pulse of life beneath. You touch a world of endless activity, of cycles turning quietly in the dark. The soil beneath your hands connects you to the rhythms of nature, to the slow, steady heartbeat of the planet. The soil that feeds the sky teaches us about patience and resilience. It reminds us that life depends on unseen work, on slow transformation and quiet care. It shows us how everything is connected, the tiniest microbe and the tallest tree, the earth below and the sky above. So let the soil's story settle softly in your heart. Let it root you in the Earth's deep rhythms, in cycles of growth and decay. And as you close your eyes, carry with you the strength beneath your feet, a living world that feeds the sky and nurtures all who dwell upon it. Before the world was warmed by the sun's gentle touch, vast sheets of ice stretched across continents, holding within them the slow passage of time. Ice is a keeper of memory, a frozen archive of Earth's past, capturing moments of climate, life, and change. Imagine a world blanketed in white, where silence reigns and time moves in slow, deep rhythms beneath layers of frost. Ice begins its journey high in the coldest places, mountains and poles, where snow falls and gathers year after year. Layer upon layer, snow compresses into ice, trapping air bubbles, dust, and particles from distant lands. These layers form glaciers and ice caps, massive rivers of frozen water that slowly creep and flow, carving the land as they move. Glaciers are powerful sculptors of the Earth's surface. Their immense weight grinds rock beneath them, shaping valleys and fjords, polishing stone smooth. As glaciers advance and retreat with changing climates, they leave behind moraines, lakes, and plains that tell stories of past ages. These frozen giants carry the marks of Earth's shifting moods. Ice also holds the story of climate through trapped air bubbles, tiny time capsules preserving the composition of ancient atmospheres. Scientists drill deep into ice cores to read these records, uncovering tales of temperature, greenhouse gases, and volcanic eruptions from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Ice reveals how the planet has breathed through cycles of warmth and cold. The frozen world supports unique life, adapted to harsh conditions. Polar bears roam icy seas, seals rest on frozen shores, and microscopic algae live beneath ice sheets, fueling fragile ecosystems. Ice shapes the rhythms of these creatures, governing migration, breeding, and survival in a landscape of extremes. Seasonal ice plays a vital role too. Sea ice expands and contracts with the seasons, influencing ocean currents and global climate. Its bright surface reflects sunlight, helping to regulate the planet's temperature. When ice melts, it contributes fresh water to oceans, affecting salinity and the life within. Imagine standing on a frozen plain, feeling the crisp air and the crunch of snow beneath your feet. The silence around you is profound, a quiet that invites reflection. In this stillness, the ice tells its story, a tale of time held in frozen layers, of Earth's ancient rhythms preserved in crystal. The ice that holds time teaches patience and resilience. It reminds us of the slow pace of change and the importance of memory in shaping the future. Ice connects the past with the present, offering clues to the planet's health and the delicate balance of life. So let the ice's story settle softly in your mind. Let it cool and calm your thoughts, grounding you in Earth's long history. And as you rest, feel the quiet strength of ice holding time, shaping landscapes and preserving the story of our living planet. Let us drift deeper into the frozen realms where ice holds secrets of Earth's ancient past and whispers of its future. Beneath the bright, shimmering surface lies a world shaped by cold and time, glaciers that flow like slow rivers of stone, ice sheets that blanket vast lands, and frozen seas that pulse with hidden life. This frozen world is both fragile and strong, a keeper of climate's long tail. Glaciers move slowly but powerfully, their weight and force shaping the land beneath. As they flow, glaciers carve deep valleys and fjords, grinding rock and soil into new forms. This slow sculpting creates dramatic landscapes, towering cliffs, sharp peaks, and wide basins that bear the imprint of ice's patient work. Each glacier is a story in motion, a frozen river reshaping the Earth. The layers of ice are pages of history, stacked one upon another, holding trapped bubbles of air and dust. Scientists extract ice cores to read these frozen archives, uncovering clues about past temperatures, volcanic eruptions, and atmospheric changes. Through ice, we learn how the planet's climate has shifted from icy ages to warm interludes, revealing patterns that help us understand today's changing world. Life in icy realms adapts in remarkable ways. Microbes live beneath glaciers, surviving in cold, dark environments by feeding on minerals. Polar bears and seals rely on sea ice for hunting and breeding, their lives intertwined with the rhythms of freeze and thaw. Arctic foxes and snowy owls navigate snowy landscapes, their fur and feathers camouflaged against the white. This frozen world supports a delicate balance of life. Seasonal sea ice plays a vital role in regulating Earth's climate. Its bright, reflective surface bounces sunlight back into space, helping to cool the planet. As ice melts in warmer months, it freshens ocean waters and influences currents that drive weather patterns globally. The ebb and flow of ice connect polar regions to the wider world, a cycle essential to Earth systems. Imagine standing on the edge of a glacier, feeling the cold air and hearing the distant crack of ice shifting. The silence is profound, filled with the weight of time. The ice beneath your feet is ancient, carrying stories of climates long past and the slow march of Earth's changes. In this stillness, you sense the deep connection between frozen worlds and living things. The ice that holds time teaches us about patience and endurance. It reminds us that change often happens slowly, that memory is preserved in layers, and that the past is always present beneath the surface. Ice holds lessons for resilience in a changing climate, a testament to the planet's enduring spirit. So let the ice's quiet strength flow softly through your thoughts. Let it cool your mind and calm your heart, grounding you in the deep rhythms of Earth's frozen history. And as you rest, feel the timeless pulse of ice, shaping landscapes, preserving memory, and holding the story of life's long journey. As we reach the peaceful close of the ice's story, let us reflect on the quiet strength and enduring memory held within frozen worlds. Ice is more than cold water locked in time. It is a keeper of Earth's deep history, a shield for delicate ecosystems, and a mirror reflecting the planet's changing face. The glaciers and ice sheets whisper of ages past and hint at the future to come. Through cycles of advance and retreat, ice has shaped continents and oceans alike. The great ice ages carved valleys, formed lakes, and sculpted mountains, leaving behind landscapes that tell stories of slow but relentless change. These frozen forces have influenced sea levels, weather patterns, and the very course of evolution, reminding us of nature's power and patience. Within ice's embrace, life adapts and thrives in remarkable ways. Microbial communities survive beneath kilometers of ice, feeding on minerals and ancient organic matter. Arctic animals rely on sea ice for hunting, breeding, and shelter, their rhythms tied to the freeze and thaw. The dance of life in these cold realms is a delicate balance, a testament to resilience and adaptation. Scientists study ice cores to unlock secrets of Earth's climate, learning how greenhouse gases have fluctuated, how volcanic eruptions have cooled the planet, and how ecosystems have responded to change. These frozen records help us understand the challenges ahead and the urgency of protecting fragile polar environments. Imagine standing at the edge of a melting glacier, watching icebergs drift silently into the sea. The air is crisp, the water cold and clear. You feel the weight of time in the ice's slow retreat, a reminder of the planet's delicate balance. This moment holds the essence of ice's story, a call to respect and care for Earth's frozen heart. The ice that holds time teaches us humility and hope. It shows us that the Earth is always changing, that life persists through cycles of challenge and renewal, and that our actions can shape the future. Ice invites us to listen deeply, to learn from its silent stories, and to act with care. So let the ice's gentle wisdom settle softly in your mind. Let it fill you with peace and a quiet strength. And as you close your eyes, carry with you the timeless voice of ice, a keeper of memory, a guardian of life, and a symbol of Earth's enduring story.